Hey, let's record this.
But I can't see anything.
We'll turn on the nods.
Oh.
See? Everything's better under nods. Like drinking coffee. And chewing gum. No, chewing gum's stupid. And reading a book. And tying knots. And playing D&D.
Roll for stealth.
Shit. And picking locks. And of course, night vision gains.
Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. I'm here with John Lovell at Telluric Group. I have been attending the Night Vision Operator course this week. This is now our second day of training, so I am fresh out of the range. I smell fantastic. I'm sure John is an absolute pleasure to be around me. So,
awesome. We don't feel like making a video, by the way. We're
It's
both
late.
exhausted, so this is a labor of love already. You're welcome.
I thought it would be cool to actually pick John's brain. He's the main trainer here at Telluric Group, so he's who's running the Night Vision Operator course for everyone this week. And I have learned a ton about equipment and gear and what to buy and what not to buy. And I've already bought something I regret. So I'd like to speak through that as amongst other things. So I thought really getting hands-on with somebody that's very familiar with this stuff would be important for you guys out there, so you guys can make the decision to purchase good quality stuff and also come get some training on your own, because gear and night vision equipment is pointless without good training behind it. So I really want to emphasize that as well. So
That's good.
thank you. You should appreciate
You
it.
should teach night vision. That was awesome. That was awesome.
all
That's
right.
basically all I said in the course.
Yeah, so
you don't
we're
need
done.
To, you
That's
don't
it.
need to. That,
Video's over.
see you guys.
All right, so first I want to start with night vision itself. So obviously a lot of misconceptions. One thing that I really appreciated that you said, and I will remember forever, is night vision is not a cloaking device. Like, that was huge for me, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of true, especially as you started in with the white light demonstration, and we got to really see what shadows were doing. That was huge for me personally. So the benefit of night vision, obviously, is that you can see in the dark, but again, it's not a cloaking device, like you said. So
Right.
the actual night vision itself, I know most of the stuff that is available right now is Gen 3, so it's the newer technology stuff. As far as what people need to look for when they're purchasing night vision, mounts, helmets, things that come along with that.
And you can actually get some really high quality Gen 2 stuff, which is, I mean, if you're on a shoestring budget, you could do that. I'd rather you just don't buy anything, wait and get the good thing so you don't make too small purchases. Anybody in the gun world already knows that. Yeah, so you kind of get what you pay for. It's like you got money for a red dot optic. You're almost there, can get an aim point or something like that. Wait, make sure you get the good thing or don't get the other thing. And the intermittent steps are really, really costly.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but the Gen 3, if you're really, really picky, yeah, so here you go. Yeah, the Gen 3 too.
Yeah, so this is what I've been running this week. This is my Ops Core helmet. I've got my Swordens kind of routed through here that I'm using for ear protection. We're not running any comms, so this kind of is in the way this week, all my comm shit. But then I've got a Wilcox L4 G24 Mount. I've got the Wilcox J-Arm for the PVS-14, as well as my PVS-14. So that's kind of how I'm running this setup. And then I also have a retention lanyard from Wilcox here as well to make sure that if the night vision unit does come off the helmet, it's still retained and I'm not going to lose my investment. So as far as this stuff goes, Wilcox is a pretty good brand as far as mounts go.
They make really good stuff.
Super expensive. I'm going to warn you, it is expensive stuff, obviously, but
And there's some downsides to it as well. So people think, hey, just get the best of the best. And a lot of times, I mean, I'm from the old days in combat of improvisation. And so, I mean, like, you were given a certain amount of equipment and be like, all right, make it work. And so now somehow with a conglomeration of 100 mile an hour tape and 550 cord, I am now wearing kit. And so I kind of come from those days as well, and I recognize even with just a cheap Neurodos mount with J-arm, and you take a little bungee cord with a 550 cord loop, and you can virtually remove almost all the wiggle and wobble. And a lot of people, when they get a mount like this, they're trying to remove all wobble. First off, don't obsess. Don't try to remove all wobble. A tiny amount is just fine. Don't obsess about it. It's not going to be a big deal. Once you start running and gunning, you're really not going to notice it anyway. But really, with just a bungee cord looped around here, I can almost eliminate all that. And instead of spending a whole bunch on this, I'm good to go. Also, the G24 mount is amazing. Lots of different options for this. So we carry these, we sell these, we love these, we recommend them. For me, though, when you try to pull it in tight against the face, that's as far in as it goes. And even when I roll my eye cup, it doesn't come and touch my ocular socket here. It won't actually touch, so I can't eliminate the splash with the 24. Where the G11 Army, I can, and with the just standard Neurodos mount, I can. And so that, for me, that kind of sucked. But for other guys, they're not having that problem at all. So there's one limitation. The cool stuff is like when we were doing down laser drills, and you needed to switch nods from one side to the other, you can hit a button and flip it over to the other side, just like that. That's brilliant. That's awesome. And it's got breakaway mounts, tons of ways to adjust it back. You like how I'm jacking all this up?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll adjust it.
We went into part of the course is we did a little obstacle course, and there was one piece where I just jacked all their stuff up. I was changing their straps and taking all their stuff off. And oh wait, you told me not to do that.
It's just a pain in the ass.
That's what
I have pain.
That's
I
what
have
I do.
pain in there, and it's a pain to get back in.
Oh, okay, good.
Whatever.
So I just went around and I just wrecked the students'
I
stuff.
did it under the $900.
Just changed it all, and then I killed the lights, and I said, "Have fun, guys." And part it's because they'll feel the pain of not being able to do stuff, and they're like, man, I'm going to learn my equipment so this never happens again. And part of it's because it's just kind of fun to haze your students.
Yes.
As an that wasn't.
It was good.
Maybe a little bit.
It was a great drill, though, man. I appreciated it. It really taught me a lot, too, because it does reinforce the fact that you do need to know where your controls are at all times to not only raise and lower it, but if something hits the mount and screws it up, you need to be able to adjust it on the fly.
And it's real. And that's the point of the drill. It's in one motion. Reach up, make a quick adjustment, and back indexing, and being able to go without slowing down and breaking stride, and without thought at that. So that's what I'm trying to make them feel the pressure. And we're doing tons of stuff like that. So anyway, it's not me just hazing your gear for 3 days in the dark.
No, I've learned a lot, too, man. So one thing that I put on my PVS 14 was an amber filter from Wilcox, which does reduce the amount of green splash that's on your eye, meaning that if you're looking at somebody on night vision, you see that green glow on their eye. But the standard piece that comes with the PVS 14 is that eye cup. It's like a rubber eye cup. And John really touts those, and he made some really good valid points about that because... So what is it that the amber filter cuts down on a little bit?
Yeah, so the amber filters are great. You want to fantastic. Yay for amber filter. I personally am not blown back and amazed by them. Really what the amber filter is doing is it's basically like taking the brightness level, like your variable gain, and cranking it down a few notches. So it's not as bright back here, but it also makes it a little bit more dim when you look through it than it would be. So it's dimming it for you, which can be good for splash, but it's bad for really being able to see. And it's not that big of a deal. It's not like, no, I can't see. No, you can still see. It's not a disaster, but it is dimming it some. And then the second thing is you're still getting a splash. You can still see it. It's just not nearly as obvious as the green. You see green splashes on dudes, you hit their profile, you can see that half a football field away pretty easily. You can see those splashes a long way out. And so an eye cup rolled all the way back eliminates all splash altogether. Now, when you're running and gunning, your heart rate's up and you're sweating. If you have your eye cup rolled back so that you eliminate all the splash, you're going to fog up immediately and you can't run. Also, if you have those nods backed against your ocular socket at all touching, as soon as you start running and it's doing this over and over till you hate your life, you'll realize I got to back that away. And the amber lenses can be a good way where I can reduce some of the splash and back it away from my face. So when I'm sweating, I can have my cake and eat it too. This is a good option, but it's probably you think it's doing a little bit more than it really is, but it's still a pretty good option. So I'm not making fun. I'm not saying trash that. It's pretty good.
Yeah. A couple other things I want to speak through as well. Just so you understand, what we're doing in this class is point shooting with the laser aiming device. I have a D-ball.
Point shooting.
Point shooting. That's what you said, right? Or is that what I said?
I have no idea what you mean. Go ahead.
Meaning you're looking through this, seeing the laser, and shooting at what it's
You're
pointing
shooting at the laser.
I probably said that wrong. But
I have no idea. But we're in it. We're going. All right. Everyone knows.
if I were to
everyone's
shoot
nice.
this gun right now, what would you call it?
Shooting the gun.
While looking at the laser aiming device,
Shooting
right?
the gun
Okay,
with a
cool.
laser. Sorry.
All
You're not an
trying
idiot.
To,
I'm
trying to
probably just
explain
being
it.
an
I'm
idiot.
trying to explain it to those out there that
Okay.
might not understand
Sorry.
the concept of shooting with a laser.
You're
I was
awesome.
trying to.
You're doing great.
Sorry.
I'm an idiot. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're rocking and rolling.
So I got the D-ball I squared. It was a motherfucker to sight in today. A complete asshole for me. But I kind of screwed that up a little bit too because I started to adjust the visible laser when I should have been adjusting the infrared laser. So a little bit of that was my part, but you know, it did kind of give me some crap. But
Yeah, sorry about that.
Anyway.
And I've got a whole line of all this just grab bags of different things. And usually I'm pretty good to be like, all right, there's the I square, there's the D2, there's the A3, there's the APL. I can pretty much do that, but a lot of these others have the infrared over here and the flood over here, and the I squared is reversed. And usually I catch it and I forgot to adjust it, so I'm helping them make adjustments. I'm like, why? We've adjusted it 2,000 clicks, which it doesn't have 2,000 clicks.
I actually...
that was partially on me too. I'm sorry. Usually I catch it. I didn't this time.
no worries, man.
But it ended up being funny to watch you frustrated.
Well, what was the funny part is that, I'm learning about these too while I've sighted one of these in, and I like you said, I had my little witness marks, and you're like, yeah, those aren't going to work. And it's true. It had lost its zero since I last zeroed it. So
yeah, and so the little what he's talking about is you make little luminescent paint marks on the dial and the housing, so it lines up, and your laser hasn't lost zero. Mm-hmm. The problem is lasers are not nearly possess the reliability as something like your day optics. You can take an EOTech or Trijicon or an aim point. You can kind of hit it with a hammer, and a lot of times these things will retain their zero. Lasers are far more finicky. Even the best ones are far more finicky. So though your luminescent paint right there hadn't moved at all, you weren't really even close to being zero. You thought you were.
Yep.
So I'll get SWAT teams, organic SWAT teams that come to me, and they'll have whatever laser that they procured because they read about it in some forum, and they're like, all right, they're good. And I'm like, all right, great. How many of you guys are zero? And everyone will be like, yeah, we're good, we're good. And we will be surprised if more than 1 or 2 out of 10 are actually zero. So a lot of people think that they do. They don't really understand the process, and some guys are more switched on. But that's just kind of that's what we're seeing. A lot of times people think their lasers are really good, and we warn them like these things. This is the D-ball I squared. I hate this thing. I think it sucks. I think this is a paperweight. After it's going to stop working. Can't work, and then we've got a graveyard of them as well. I trust a few lasers, and even the ones I really trust, the D-ball D2, which we sell, and the APL. That's the PEC 15 and the APL C. So
Which are both civilian.
the APL C is civilian. The APL is military law enforcement, and that's got the high-powered Anyway, I trust those two lasers, and that's all we'll sell. I squared can work well, so don't troll us and be like, I've had the I squared for 30,000 years and it works amazing every time. Well, great. It's good for you. You got the one.
Happen since you said don't troll us, right?
We just got trolled.
I'm sure.
I'm newer to YouTube. I'm figuring stuff out, and I think maybe if I
can't say troll.
Maybe if I reason with the trolls, they'll be nicer, but that's not true.
I don't know, man.
Bring it on, trolls. Bring it on.
Now you really did.
Really? Crap.
All right, so one thing that I learned about with the D-ball I squared from just running everything that John's kind of put out in the class is that, so I was running a standalone illuminator on my flashlight. I have a vampire head from Surefire that all I have to do is pull this up and twist it to go from white to IR light, and that's my illuminator, meaning the D-ball I squared is a laser only. It does not have an illuminator, which I thought wasn't a big deal until we started doing a lot of the drills we were doing, and I figured out, oh crap, I really wish that I could have one button to activate both the laser and the illuminator at the same time. So, do you want to speak through kind of the philosophy?
Yeah, that's a big deal for me. And
well, you made some very valid points about it. So
thanks.
Yeah.
For me, I want a laser that has an illuminator and an infrared laser. I don't really care about the visible laser, but I want an infrared laser and an illuminator, a great illuminator, so that one button turns both on, and then you remove your finger from it, and it goes off. That's what I really want. If I have to do a two-part of like, okay, illuminator on, then my laser, and then, oh crap, white light, and then switch it on. You don't have time to do that. When you need white light, you need it that moment. When you need an infrared laser and illuminator, you need it that moment. And now, using your laser just alone, you can't identify targets with just a laser. Any more than if you went in a really dark room, you turned on a red laser, like a handheld little red laser, and pointed at the wall and tried to make out who that was over it. You can't see with this. You need an illuminator so that it feels kind of like daytime in those dark corners to be able to really see. So illuminator on a laser is really mission critical for me. And if you're LE, you're military, it's mission critical for you, and you don't want a second step. Now, if you already have an illuminator, and you have this, and you have a white light, now that's 3 things instead of 2, and that just sucks. But there can be ways you can make this work. It just sucks, and you're never going to be, you feel yourself bottlenecked out as some of these other guys running a better setup.
Yeah, so
it's nice and easy. Yeah, sure. So this is one of the students.
Pronounce it one more time, because I can never remember it.
The APIAL.
APIAL.
Or APIAL C or PEC 15. So a lot of military guys run this. LE runs this. This is one of my students who's in the class right now. So this is his setup, and he has the correct setup because he watched me on YouTube talk about the setup. So, no, just kidding.
So I should have watched.
So shame on you. I told him I wanted this over here because I didn't want, as he was playing the frets right here, I don't want his hand hitting right here over and over to weaken this switch. A lot of the failure points of this system is going to be where these switches plug in and interface right here and right here. Those are the big failure points on it, and I see switches go bad. This is the Surefire double switch, so it goes with the Surefire Scout Light and with the APIAL, and this is a beautiful setup that I'm not seeing failures out of. This is a great setup. So here it's just this button turns on illuminator and IR laser. This button, white light, and you can go back and forth, and it minimizes any changes to your daytime grip. So no changes for daytime grip, and I can go infrared, white, in one fret without really changing.
Do you want to speak to why that would be important? Because, I mean, I know I get it, but meaning...
Yeah.
Just real quick.
So, running night vision, you're scanning, or whatever, whatever, and all of a sudden you need to engage, come up, and immediately your IR flood allows you to identify a target. Your laser allows you to engage that target. If somebody introduces white light toward you, so I've had this happen to me before. I was clearing rooms in Iraq, and I had to react to a suddenly lit environment and transition over. And all of a sudden, I was looking through my day optic with unaided eye, and flashlight was answering back with other flashlight. So being able to transition back between the two. If they shine a flashlight at you, all of a sudden you're lit up like it's daytime, and they can see you clear as day. So if I can answer back with white light, now, especially if I have a brighter light, which is a high probability, now I can shut them down so they can't see me nearly as well. And it blinds it out and makes it harder for me to hit. And that's more, so that's part of the thing. Now there's more to it tactically. So when somebody says, well, you should be shooting and not playing around. Well, yeah, but we're issuing commands. So there's more to it than that, more than what I'm saying right here. But being able to answer white light with white light in just a moment is a big deal. Also to be able to power and control and to blind somebody, that's really powerful. All of a sudden you roll in on somebody, they have no idea you're under night vision. You roll in, and as soon as they realize, whoa, I can't see in the dark and people are here, and you all of a sudden a bunch of white light in their eyes, and now they're way blind, and it really, with enough white light, it'll shut them down. People, you hit them with enough white light up close, they're like, all right, dude, I'm done. Whatever you want to do. So it can be a pretty cool thing, but you'll want to be able to adjust back between the two very, very quickly.
Yeah. It was interesting how you shine the light at all of us, too, and let us understand that for ourselves.
Did that suck?
I appreciate
Did that suck?
Yeah, it sucked, but it was good to...
Took away your will to fight.
Yeah,
dude,
okay.
Whatever, you win. I don't want to play anymore.
No, it was good. What I really got out of the first day, too, was how you were talking about the shadows, and we went into the shoot house, and we actually got to see what shadow and light looks like in a dark environment. You know, all the lights were out, but we still saw door frames that lit up a little bit. You know, as our vision adjusted to the dark, being the op4, the role players, we got to kind of see what light and shadow did as people come through the door. I mean, that was huge, man. Like, that goes back to what we mentioned in the beginning, the whole, it's not an invisibility cloak. So.
And that's
Yeah.
this is a really big problem.
Yeah.
Well, a big piece of what the very first day of the course is about is, guys, you've got to be able to understand how to read lighting conditions. And if you don't immediately know what I'm talking about, you have no idea how to do this. Reading lighting conditions, it's not very intuitive. And as soon as I put goggles on somebody, they're like, ooh, a magical cloaking device. Nobody can see me and you're creeping around. But meanwhile, walking through, you're getting backlit all over the place. You're walking, you're not staying in the shadows and picking your terrain and route based on your lighting conditions. Night vision can be a great tool that can help rescue you, save your life, or it can be a tool that can get you killed if you don't know how to employ it properly. So reading lighting conditions are a really big deal. Now, a lot of what law enforcement teams and civilians are doing with night vision is based upon what special operations pioneered in the deserts of Afghanistan, or in more open areas in Iraq. And when law enforcement's employing night vision, I'm training LE all the time, they'll sync up with some of us ex-soft guys and know, well, like, this is what I did in the deserts of Afghanistan. I'm like, yeah, but the lighting conditions we ran were far different. Now, if, like, in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, it's hard to go anywhere in that place where you don't have some ambient light, and sometimes it's walking around like it's daytime. So that affects greatly how night vision should be employed, and puts a great precedence on the importance of being able to understand how to read lighting conditions. And it really changes how your equipment should be set up too. I realize a lot of you guys won't really know what I'm talking about, and that's because you haven't had night vision operator or professional defender.
So one of the things that I was going to do is take my two PVS 14s that I have and combine them into dual tubes, because I was under the impression that's the answer. But as we were learning in the class, that's not always the answer, because as you were talking about with ambient light and urban environments, that's not always ideal. Dual tubes can actually be a hindrance a little bit, right?
Yes. So in some areas, dual tubes, it's a big advantage over single tubes, especially when you don't have much training. When you have very little training, you're going to immediately feel a lot better walking around with dual tubes. Once you have a good bit of training, you'll be able to run our obstacle course with a single tube as fast as you can with a dual tube. It doesn't really make much difference. Now, if I'm in a very urban environment where there's lots of light pollution and I'm going to constantly read lighting conditions, I want a PVS 14. Especially when I have the likelihood where all of a sudden I have to transition of I kick in a door, or the lights go on immediately, and I have to transition to day optic. And I've had to do that before, and I'm alive today because I was able to seamlessly transition from here to here seamlessly, and that was really a good thing. So being able to do that with a PVS 14 makes a lot of sense in a highly urban area. If I'm out in rural areas, or I know it's very, very dark, having a dual tube, it's just a lot easier. It's better. I'd rather have duals. Now, and I also like to say, yeah, I'm a night vision pro, I instruct, but there's a lot of really good shooters, guys out there that may disagree, and I'm like, hey, we run duals all the time and we're great. And I want to say at the same time, this is one man's opinion, and I'm really open and cool with other people saying it, but I've got good reasons for it. It's not the end-all be-all, but I wanted to go ahead and give that little caveat emptor.
Well, what really clicked with me when you were talking about single versus dual was the whole street light philosophy. So in an urban area, you pass under a street light, on a PVS 14, you're going to notice that lighting change condition more so specifically than a dual tube setup.
Sure.
So that's huge too. I mean, your four basic principles that you went over, the one that really hammers that is the backlighting. You can avoid being backlit. So, yeah.
But if you still want to get a Wilcox bridge and put two PVS 14s and you can just take one off when you want to put, that's a pretty cool deal.
Pretty cool.
I really love that idea. So all is not lost.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I think we kind of covered the gamut of. I do want to talk about pistol because that was huge today. That was super eye-opening. So tritium sights on a pistol shooting through night vision was brand new to me. I've never done that before in my life, and it was amazing. So, can you just kind of real quickly talk about that with the 2-dot tritium versus 3-dot tritium and why that's important?
Sure.
So Telluric Group, and that's who have we?
Yes.
Did we mention Telluric?
We're in Telluric Group.
Yay, Telluric Group. So if we don't say, man, I'm just.
Well, yeah.
I've been teaching all day in the
I
dark.
swear to God, I said night vision operator Telluric Group in the beginning.
Okay, I believe you. My brain is waxed. I'm doing a terrible job with you, so you should probably scratch this video. So there's triple ampules, the 2 in the back and 1 in the front. Most people run those. Dual ampules are better for shooting under night vision. There's reasons why, but in terms of accuracy and rapid acquisition, and I say that especially to the guys who are running a single PVS 14. So I don't really care to explain exactly why, but just know it's easier. So these are Savigny sights, Warren Savigny sights. That's the only thing we sell in the pro shop, I think. Yeah, but anyway, of single ampule here.
One less pair of those after today. I'm borrowing this clock and it was amazing.
And a single ampule here, and it allows you to not have that problem where you feel like you're lined up, but really your gun is pointing sideways. Because you see all 3 tritium ampules lined up goofy.
Yeah.
But we were shooting. You were making hits at 25 yards on a silhouette with tritium under night vision, which was really cool, and I'll show you how. But pretty fun.
So again, to kind of reinforce the training aspect of this, all this stuff is great and gear's cool to have, but learn from my lesson. I wish I would have waited to buy a D-ball I-squared until I attended this class and really got to understand what I needed. But then again, I didn't have the class before, so, weigh that with whatever you guys want. But anyway, I'm glad we could kind of show that stuff on Gear Tasting today and kind of walk through a little bit of that. Sure. Guys, again, Telluric Group, I want to appreciate and thank John Lovell for having me out here to attend this.
Sure.
Info@telluricgroup.com if you guys want to learn more.
Yeah, and for folks that want to, we're really a training organization first and foremost. I'm not a sales guy. I just train, so I don't really care about this, but I want to give a shout out to the boss. And we help folks out. We're dealers for just about everybody. So if y'all are wanting night vision equipment, and hey, no crap, this is what you need. Get this. Don't get this too. Just this and this plain Jane, or your agency wants to procure something and you got a big thing. We can bundle training with all the products. We're dealers for everything. You want a Gym Tech or Surefire or whatever, and we can package it all into training or just do it sterile. So anyway, email info at it was written on the board, info@telluricgroup.com, or get in touch with me. You can find me pretty easy.
We'll put some links below in the description too, so you guys have those as resources. But yeah, thanks again, John. And check out John's videos on YouTube too. Just search John Lovell and give him some level on YouTube.
Hey, I see what you did there. I see what you did. That's so clever.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Yep.
Cool.